One of the things that I have been doing is working my way through the Sermon on the Mount, looking at the Greek text and looking at each phrase or word grammatically, doing an inductive, what we might call an inductive analysis. And so I wanted to pick that up again. We've had sort of a hiatus or a time off, and I need to get back at doing it. So we begin with me klinete, chena me krithete. That is, do not judge, lest you should be judged. Notice may is your negative uh, particle here, and it carries with it the idea of basically do not judge at all. It's creating an attitude where you don't judge. And notice klinete is your present imperative second person plural from kreno. So do not judge in order that or lest you should be judged. Henna may, henna is showing a result or a purpose. And notice krithete, lest you should be judged, is an aorist subjunctive, second person plural from kreno. Theta eta gives it away as a subjunctive. You think about your aorist subjunctive, lutho, luthes, luthe, luthomen, lutheta. And that's the form we have here if we were looking at luo. Lest you should be judged. So the verse is saying, stop judging others, lest you be judged. And I think he's looking at the type of judgment that can become rather frivolous toward other people, not looking at major areas like great theological truth, but looking at, we might say, people becoming sort of picky and judging others. And notice it goes on in verse 2, in hogar klimati klinete klithesiste, kai in ho pat metro metrete metrethesitai humin. That is, for in which judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And in which measure you are measuring, it shall be measured to you. Notice in here takes your dative case in ho, in which, and ho is a relative pronoun. Think about cha, hu, cho, chan is your relative pronoun. So in, for in which judgment. Klimati is your dative singular from klima, meaning judgment. So in which judgment you are judging. Klinete is your present indicative active, second person plural from klino. And then klithesis, that you shall be judged. Notice again from klino, and this is a future indicative passive, second person plural from klino. Think about your future, luthesamai, luthese, luthesatai, luthesamatha, luthesiste. That's the form here. If we were using luo as our, can I say, the one that, the paradigm that we would follow. So in which judgment you are judging, you shall be judged. And kain ho, and in which measure. Notice metro means measure. And again, we have the in here taking the dative case in metro. So in which measure you measure. And notice here we have, by the way, it's from metras, meaning measure. And then metrete is your present, notice, indicative active, second person plural from metreo. So in which measure you are measuring, then it shall be measured to you. Notice metrethesitai is from metreo, to measure. And again, we have your theta, your eta, your sigma, and the etai ending, which is your future indicative passive, third person singular from metreo. So in which measure you measure, it shall be measured to you. And again, we went through the luthesis step. Your luthesomai, luthese, luthesite, luthesamata, luthesista. It's the same form in that future indicative passive, second person plural. So in which measure you measure, it'll be measured back to you. So be careful about being judgmental of others. And then verse 3, ti de blepes ta karphas ta en to ophthalmon tu adelphusu, tende en to so ophthalmo da kan u kata na es. That is, for and why. Here we have a question. Why are you looking at the speck in the eye of your brother? Notice blepes is your present indicative active, second person singular from blepo. Why are you looking at the speck or the mote? Notice ta karphas means speck or mote. So why do you look at the mote? And here we have an accusative singular form, which is in, again, ta here is an article functioning with like a relative pronoun in translation. So why are you looking at the mote, which is in the eye of your brother? Notice into ophthalmo is taking the dative case with in, and ophthalmos is the noun meaning eye. By the way, this is where we get ophthalmology, or an ophthalmologist, one who looks at the eyes. So in, and notice it says, why are you looking at the speck which is in the eye of your brother? And notice tu adelphu is your genitive singular, and su is also the genitive singular from set, second person personal pronoun. So why are you looking at the speck which is in the eye of your brother? And notice tende into so ophthalmo dakan u kata na es. And the, now this word dakan can look at a beam or a log, and there's sort of a humor here. The log which is in your eye, you do not perceive, but you're taking the splinter out of your brother's eye. And there's some irony here. Notice tain here takes the accusative case with dakon. So, but, or and, the beam or the tubophore, the log, in your eye, and notice in is taking the dative case with to, so, ophthalmo. Again, so is your personal pronoun, second person, se, su, so, or ses, I should say, su, so, and then se. And so again, the dative here within. So the beam in your eye, u kata na es. You are not perceiving. Notice kata na es is from kata na eo, a contract verb, and it's the present indicative active, second person singular from kata na eo. So you're not really perceiving, a question mark here. And why is that? The beam or the tubophore which is in your eye, but you're trying to take the speck out of your brother's eye. So then he goes on in verse 4, Epos eros to adelphosu aphes, ekbalo ta karphas ek tu ophthalmusu, kai idu he dakas into ophthalmosu. That is another question that the Lord is asking. Or how is it that you will say to your brother? Notice eres is your future indicative active, second person singular from lego. Ero, ero, ores, ore, ero, eres, ere would be your future indicative active. And this is second person. So how do you say to your brother? And notice to adelpho takes the dative case, and su is your genitive singular. How do you say to your brother, permit me? Aphes. And by the way, aphes is from apheemi. It is your aorist imperative, second person singular from apheemi. So permit me, I will cast out the splinter out of your eye. Notice again, ekbalo is a subjunctive from ekbalo with the double lambda, and here it's a single lambda, showing we're looking at a compound subjunctive verb, ekbalo. It's subjunctive, aorist subjunctive, first person singular from ekbalo. So permit me, I will cast out, notice the splinter, karphas, out of your eye. And again, we're seeing irony here. Let me cast out. It's a hortatory subjunctive, and ta karphas is your accusative singular. So permit me, let me cast out the splinter out of your eye, and lo, or behold. Notice idu is from charao. It is the aorist imperative, second person singular from charao. And look, or behold, the plank. And notice he dakas again means the beam or the plank. So lo, or behold, the plank in your eye. Notice, permit me, I will cast out the splinter out of your eye, and look, the beam is in your eye. You're not even seeing it. And notice then in verse 5, hypocrite. Hupakrita, here we have a vocative of address. Oh, hypocrite. Ekbale proton ek tu ophthalmusu tain dakan kaitate dia blepses ekbalen ta karphas ek tu ophthalmu tu adelphusu. Notice, O hypocrite, or hypocrite, cast out first. Notice ekbalo. Here we have the aorist imperative, second person singular from ekbalo. So cast out first out of your eye the tubophore, or the beam. Tain dakan is the accusative singular following this imperative. So cast out the beam in your eye, and then diablepses, you shall see. Notice diablepses, again, is the future indicative active, second person singular from diablepo. By the way, on this compound verb, diablepo, you'll see clearly. And notice diablepo, when you add the sigma for the future, it turns into a psi. And so diablepses becomes diablepses with the psi. The p and the sigma changing to a psi here in the future indicative active form. So then you shall be able to clearly see, or to see clearly, ekbalen, to cast out. And notice ekbalen is a second aorist infinitive from ekbalo, to cast out the splinter out of the eye of your brother. And notice ek here takes the genitive case with tu ophthalmu, tu adelphusu. So what he's really saying here basically is take the beam out of your eye, the real issue that's blinding you, and then you'll be able to to see clearly, to cast that splinter out of your brother's eye. So a lot of irony here, warning against some of the frivolous judgments that often people can make toward others. And this is what the Lord is teaching. And so then in verse 6, me doteta hagion tois kusin, me de baletetus margaritas humon imprastenton kairon, me pote katapatesusin autus in tois pasin auton, kai strafentes chrexosin chemas, or chumas. Notice, do not give, and notice here in the form dota, it's from didomi. It is the aorist subjunctive, second person plural from didomi, second aorist. So do not give, and then following this subjunctive form, that which is holy, ta chagion, the holy thing, to the dogs, tois kusin. And by the way, kusin is in your dative, and it refers to the dogs. Lest, don't give that which is holy to the dogs. By the way, the dogs at this time were sort of wild mongrel dogs that roamed the streets. And what he's saying is, do not give that which is holy to the dogs. And one of the things, by the way, the plural form is kunon for dogs. So the dative plural. So do not give that which is holy. The dative plural is from kunon. Kusin is your dative plural form here from kunon. So do not give that which is holy to the dogs, lest they basically will lacerate you, or lest, you don't take what is holy and throw it out to the wild mongrel dogs. I think that's the thought. And I'm thinking he'll repeat it again. Me de balete tus margaritas humon, that is, do not cast. And here again, we have another aorist subjunctive, second person plural from balo with the one lambda. So do not cast your pearls, tus margaritas. Here we have your plural of this noun meaning pearls. Tus is your accusative plural form. So do not cast your pearls, or the pearls of you. Humon is your genitive plural, second person, second personal pronoun. So do not cast your pearls imprasten, before. Here we have the preposition before swine, ton koiron. And notice the on ending here is showing us that we're looking at a genitive plural form. And I think one of the things that he's saying here is they can be vicious to you. And by the way, this is from koipas, meaning a young pig or a swine. And I think what he's really saying is, be careful how you share the great truths that I'm teaching you. So do not cast your pearls before swine. You don't put pearls before swine, lest they shall, notice, trample them with their feet. Notice kata patesusin is from kata pateo, a future indicative active third person plural from kata pateo, lest they shall trample them with their feet. Notice in tois pasin auton. In is taking the dative with the plural here, with their feet, and turning should lacerate you. Notice straphentes is from the verb strapho, and here we have the aorist passive participle nominative masculine singular, or nominative masculine plural, nominative masculine plural from strepho. Notice luthes, lutentas, lutenti, lutenta, luthentes, if we were using luo as a paradigm for this form. So, and they turn, and that, again, that's that aorist passive participle, and should lacerate you. Notice rexusin is the aorist subjunctive active third person plural from regnumi, which means to lacerate or to tear you up. And humas is your accusative plural form, the second personal pronoun, personal pronoun. So lest they should lacerate you, and it's in the accusative here. So basically, what I believe Jesus is saying, he's warning against wrongly judging others. First of all, we need to look at ourselves and not do kind of minuscule judgments. I don't think he's talking about major theological and moral issues that he has addressed, but I think he's talking simply about this kind of picayunish judgment that can sometimes take place. We need to look and see the beam in our own eye and take it out to be able to see even the splinter in our brother's eye. So again, we see irony here by our Lord. And then the next thing, we don't take what is holy, what is sacred, and just throw it out to be trampled underfoot by those that would not want it. And I think the Lord just giving a warning to the 12 here. Or I should say to the multitudes that he's teaching, but to the disciples that are going to follow his teaching. So what a beautiful text the Sermon on the Mount is. We want to continue looking at the grammar and then seeking to explain each word. In our other videos, we have worked up through chapter 6, and now we're at 7. We'll begin our next video. So I'm hoping this can be helpful. You need to have a Greek New Testament open, and I would recommend a grammar book that you could be looking at. Possibly a good one would be Machen's grammar. I really have always appreciated it. Very classic type of grammar. So at any rate, thank you for listening, and I hope this will be a help for those that may want to continue at their Greek, maybe some pastors. And I'm going to do the same in Hebrew. We've been putting out also inductive Hebrew grammars, and I need to get back to that and continue to put them out. Thank you for listening. May the Lord bless you in the study of the original Greek, New Testament, and later on we'll be putting a Hebrew one out as well in the Psalms. Thank you so much.